Princess Leonor Royal Vows Live, Spain cries tears of joy. Spain has seen royal weddings before, but never something like this. People expected elegance, protocol, tradition. What they didn't expect was the moment that unfolded today, a scene so emotional, so deeply human, that even the most reserved Spaniards found themselves wiping tears from their eyes. They thought they were watching a royal ceremony. They had no idea they were about to witness history transform into something raw, tender, and unforgettable. Because the truth no one saw coming is simple, this wasn't just a future queen getting married. This was Princess Leonor revealing a side of herself Spain wasn't prepared for, real, vulnerable, overwhelmed with love, and what happened next left the entire country breathless. Today, Spain didn't just observe a royal vow. It felt it. And as you'll soon discover, the emotional shockwave that rippled across the country didn't just come from the vows themselves, but from what happened minutes before Leonor even walked down the aisle. Let's begin. Princess Leonor's wedding day began long before cameras started rolling. In the early morning light, inside the quiet halls of the Danish royal residence, Leonor prepared in a way no one expected. She wasn't surrounded by strict protocol. She wasn't guarded by advisors. She was surrounded only by the people who have shaped her life from childhood, her family, her closest confidants, and a few key royal figures who have supported her through years of scrutiny. What struck everyone in the room, even the stylists and attendants, was how unusually calm Leonor appeared. Not detached, not nervous, calm in a way that comes from certainty. As if she knew the weight of the day, but instead of fearing it, she embraced it fully. And yet, there was something else. Something subtle. A kind of quiet emotional energy building inside her, visible in tiny ways, the way she kept touching the ring she had chosen herself, the way she paused when she looked at her reflection, the way she exhaled deeply as if carrying years of expectation on her shoulders and finally felt ready to set them down. But the real shift came when Queen Letizia entered the room. Every camera captured their later public moments, but none captured this one. The instant she stepped in, Leonor's composure cracked. Not a breakdown, just a single breath, sharp and emotional, as mother and daughter locked eyes. And for a moment, Leonor wasn't the future queen. She was simply a young woman on the biggest day of her life, looking at the person who had guided her, protected her, and prepared her for a destiny she never chose, but accepted with grace. Letizia didn't speak at first. She just held her daughter. A long, silent embrace that said everything words couldn't. Those who witnessed it said the room felt sacred, as though history paused to honor the moment. This was the first emotional spark that later ignited Spain's tears. But the story doesn't stop there. Because while Leonor was having this intimate moment, something entirely different was happening outside, something Spain would react to with pure shock. Crowds had gathered from across the world, but it was the Spanish crowd, standing shoulder to shoulder, wrapped in scarves with Leonor's initials, carrying flags, wearing navy and red, who created an energy unlike anything seen since her proclamation as Princess of Asturias. Many had traveled for days. Some were elderly Spaniards who remembered watching King Felipe's wedding. Some were teenagers who grew up with Leonor as their future queen. Some were families who brought children so they could say, "We were there when Spain stepped into a new chapter." But then the unexpected happened. Minutes before Leonor arrived at the venue, an enormous wave of singing swept through the crowd. It wasn't planned. It wasn't prompted. It emerged spontaneously, thousands of voices rising in a song traditionally sung not at weddings, but at moments of national pride. A song usually reserved for victories, achievements, transformations. Spain wasn't celebrating royalty today. Spain was celebrating Leonor herself. Journalists later said they had never covered a wedding where the atmosphere felt like a unifying national moment. Not political, not ceremonial, emotional. And that emotion reached its peak when Leonor stepped out of the car. The moment cameras captured her first step onto the pathway, the crowd erupted. Not with screams, not with applause, but with something far more powerful, a hush. A complete and immediate silence, as if every person needed a second just to absorb the sight. Because Leonor looked different. Not just elegant. Not just regal. but fuller, like someone who had grown into herself completely, carrying the quiet strength of a woman who knows exactly who she loves, what she stands for, and where she's going. This was the moment Spain began to cry. But the real emotional blow was still coming. As Leonor began her walk toward Prince Christian, something unexpected happened. A gust of wind lifted her veil, not wildly, not chaotically, just gently enough to reveal her entire face. And for a brief moment, captured in slow motion by dozens of cameras, her expression shifted into a soft, emotional smile. Not a practiced royal smile. A real one. A vulnerable one. The kind that makes even strangers feel connected. People later said this was the moment Spain realized something powerful. Leonor wasn't just fulfilling royal duty. She was marrying for love. Inside the venue, Christian was already overwhelmed. Those close to him said he had been holding back tears long before Leonor appeared, but when he saw her, he lost the battle instantly. His eyes filled, his breath caught, and he mouthed the words that millions of viewers would later try to guess: "You look perfect." But the deeper emotional twist came moments later during the vows. The world expected formal royal vows, spoken with poise and tradition. But Leonor did something no one predicted. She added her own words, simple, sincere, deeply personal. When she began speaking, her voice trembled, and Spain collectively leaned in. She didn't talk about duty. She didn't talk about responsibility. She talked about choosing love despite the pressure of her destiny. She said, in a voice full of emotion, "I walk into this life with you not because it is expected of me, but because it is what my heart has quietly chosen, every day." The reaction was instant. In the crowd, people started crying openly. Cameras caught a dozen different faces. Elderly men with tears rolling down their cheeks, young women clutching their chests, children holding small flags, unsure why the adults around them were so emotional. Queen Letizia wiped her eyes discreetly. King Felipe looked at his daughter with a pride so intense it softened his usually reserved expression. But just when people thought the emotional climax had passed, Christian delivered his vows. And this is where the ceremony turned into something unforgettable. He revealed something Spain wasn't expecting. The moment he knew Leonor was the one he would marry. He spoke about a quiet conversation they had years earlier, long before the public knew they were close. A private moment where Leonor had expressed her fears about the future, not as a princess but as a person. Christian said that in that moment, he realized she had a depth and strength he had never seen in anyone before. And then he said it. "You were born to serve your country. But I was born to love you." This single sentence shattered the emotional threshold of the crowd. Live reactions flooded across Spain, messages, voice notes, social media posts all repeating one thing: "We are crying with her." But the most powerful moment was yet to come. After the vows, after the rings, after the ceremonial blessing, Leonor and Christian shared their first official kiss as husband and wife. But unlike the controlled, carefully measured royal kisses of past generations, this one held something different: real tenderness, genuine emotion, undeniable love. Spain felt that kiss. Spain believed that kiss. And for the first time in a long time, Spain saw its future queen not as a symbol, not as an institution, but as a young woman stepping into her destiny with her heart full and her spirit unguarded. The celebration that followed was electric: cheering, waving flags, emotional embraces, spontaneous singing once again. Even political commentators admitted they hadn't seen the country so unified in years. But perhaps the most unforgettable part came after the cameras stopped broadcasting. When Leonor and Christian stepped onto the balcony for the final public moment, Leonor looked down at the crowd, her people, and whispered something to Christian, who immediately smiled. People will spend years guessing what she said. But the truth, according to a lip-reading expert interviewed hours later, was simple. "They're my strength." And in that single whisper, Leonor captured the truth of the day. Spain didn't just watch her wedding. Spain felt it. Spain supported it. Spain embraced her love story as if it were their own. The tears Spain cried today weren't just from emotion. They were from relief, pride, connection, and a sense that something pure and beautiful had unfolded in a world so often filled with noise and conflict. Princess Leonor didn't just say her royal vows. She restored something in the hearts of her nation. And Spain, united in joy, cried with her.